All right. Hello, everybody. This is Tom Randall from Golden Care. I want to welcome you very much to this webinar today. This is kind of the fun webinars I like to do. It's kind of our end of the year wrap up. We talk a little bit about what happened last year, and more importantly, we look in the future and see where we're going. So I'm going to jump right into it. I know your time is valuable, so as long as my computer plays nice with me here, we should be able to get going. There's my ugly mug again. A lot of you are used to seeing it. I've been here in my 28th year here at Golden Care. I tell you what, it's been a great career. I've had just a pleasure and blessing to be able to help so many people and hopefully help folks like you around this call today be successful out there, because what we do is important, and we'll talk a lot about that today. As you guys know from my webinars, I'm very passionate about what we do, and this year's no exception. We've got a lot of great things going on. So just a real quick intro part of it as we get going here. Remember, you're going to get these slides, so you don't have to take copious notes or anything like that. A lot of today, I'm going to try not to dive into so much detail on certain types of training, but talk more about what we have available. But we do have some new information today that hopefully will make it well worth your time to jump on. So thanks in advance for you taking your valuable time to jump on here with me today. And the first thing, obviously, if you've been on other webinars, this year was our 50th anniversary. 2024 was a great year for us at Golden Care, just a huge legacy that we've done. We had a nice party for our staff, and we brought in, of course, some of our most important partners, Amanda and Corey there, you can see from Mutual of Omaha, because we helped design that product, and we just had a great relationship with them for many years and still do. Looking forward to seeing both those folks, I think, on our trip here this year coming up for our Golden Care career agents. So we're excited about that. You can see a lot of pictures. There's Tim in the upper left, and Rob King, one of our best, if not the best career agent we have right now, is just an animal out there doing a great job producing in the upper right as well. And then, of course, down there is Mike with Amanda and Corey as well from Mutual. So we are excited to do everything we do for all these different companies, and we're looking forward to another great year on that side. Lenny Anderson is, our founder, just my mentor, and I love the guy to death. And Lenny was on our Integrity Inspire podcast. I'm assuming Lynn's going to have a way you can actually click and link to this when you get your handout. But we won't watch that today, of course. I think it's a 40-minute deal, but it's really interesting. Just a great legacy. Lenny's got so many great stories, and he's been such a great leader and mentor and friend of ours here at Golden Care. And there's Brian Adams on the right, of course, who's the founder and president and CEO of Integrity. So look forward to having you check that out if you want to. One of the biggest things we've done is our restructuring here. I won't lie to you, and I'm not going to be Debbie Downer today, but this last year by far was the most challenging year I've had here at Golden Care. I didn't dare put a picture of him up there. My brother John passed away, who was really one of the top regional directors, if not the top producing regional director here at Golden Care, year in, year out. And he was my older brother by a couple of years, my best friend, and he was really somebody that this whole office missed. So I'm not going to get choked up on it, but I do want you to know it was a tough year because of that transition, but we are doing some great things here, and we're really excited about 2025 because of the fact that we have Manny and Morgan are promoted to regional directors. Manny Rosen and Morgan Barth are just fantastic employees who have been just really the epitome of great marketing support folks who both been here for quite a few years. Manny's been here a little bit longer. Morgan's in her second year, I believe. And she is just doing a fantastic job, as Manny's just unreal what he can do. So we're really looking forward, and I think this is the best move I could make, is move these folks up to be regional directors to help try to fill that gap that we're going to lose from not having John around. And more importantly, there's something to be said. Todd and I used to joke when we were younger in this industry how we were the young and there's a lot of gray hair in the industry, and now I've got the gray hair. So it's really nice to be able to see some young folks who are ambitious, aggressive, super smart, super talented, and have a lot of expertise. And that's going to really help, I think, some of our agents. You're going to see as we talk about what's coming up this year, that's going to be a huge part of our new mode for 2025. So because of that, we've got a lot of new things happening here. We did an outside painting, got our building all spiced up and ready to go for 2025. And we did some interior building remodeling as well. So we just had to kind of update our facilities here. And you can see a couple things. There's our entryway, our lobby. For any of you who've been in our office, we don't get a lot of walk-in traffic anymore like the old days. But you know what? We do have a really nice remodel that was done. You can see there's not even a total finish. We'll have a nice sign behind that desk, etc. But this is just to show you that we are starting fresh in 2025. And remember, even though we have those fun things going on and we get a little facelift, we never forget our primary goals. You know what? We know what's important out there, and we know that what we do is help agents like you go out and be successful. So before I even jump in, I'm going to start out with a polling question. It's going to be quick, hopefully. And this is an old dog doing new tricks here. So hopefully this will work smoothly. My staff will give me crap if it doesn't. Let's see. I'm going to launch that and see if you can see it. Okay, so you're going to see a poll there, and all you have to do is click. If you're sitting in front and watching your thing, go ahead and click one of those buttons. I'll give it a few seconds here. It shows me who's responding and who's not. So far, it's really interesting, I can tell you this, because we got a lot of people voting, and it's literally sitting at 50-50 so far, with 66% of the people voting. It's been a 50-50. That's pretty interesting. 55% no, 45% yes. Anybody else last minute? All right, so I think I'm going to close this poll, and I think I don't need to show you because it's a simple one. 56% of the people said no, 44% yes. Kind of what I expected, and I'm glad to see that. I know we got a lot of our regular agents on here, so this is kind of nice. I'm going to close that, and hopefully, Lynn, I'm going to see if you don't come yelling at me or text me that we now should be able to jump back in.
We're all good, Tom.
All right, there we see it. All right, so again, part of that poll, I was really curious just to see if you've done it, and I'll have another poll question coming up later on. But at the end of the day, you guys have seen this slide. If you've been on any of my webinars, you know the reason we do what we do is so important. We've always talked about that year 2030, and we talk about how, in fact, these boomers are going to get there and everything's going to be in trouble because we're going to have people panicking all of a sudden. But what that means as an industry is it's a really good time, because 70% of the people out there are going to require some type of care, especially when you're not talking just long-term care, but with these short-term care and home health care triggers that we have nowadays, a lot more people are going to use these type of products. And we need agents like you to get excited and have the tools you need to be educators out there and let people know that there's ways to protect themselves that are much easier than what they may have thought. And we'll talk a lot today about the underwriting being easier as well. So again, I won't spend a lot of time on that, but we know this market's shifting. We buttered our bread with long-term care. We love long-term care. We love those hybrid plans out there. They're great solutions for some people. But what we're trying to show agents like you, again, if you've been on any of my webinars, you know this is old news. We're trying to show you guys we have to shift with this market. We have to make that transition. And I believe Golden Care is leading the pack in the nation right now as doing a good job of transitioning over, saying long-term care is still important for some people, but these extended care products are so important to be able to throw the net wide and help more people. Okay, so what we've done now in 2024 is we built on our 2023 and our early 2024 foundation tools. Again, I'm not going to go through and show you all these today, but when you get your handout, I want you to see we've got the InstaPivot underwriting tool out there that literally goes through and can immediately show you what states any of our short-term care products are available and whether you can get through with certain underwriting conditions. So it makes it really easy for you, but you don't even have to use that, because we show you in our training how easy it is to do underwriting without even having to use an electronic tool. It's a real easy way to go through and find out what we can do. Okay, we have our Omniflex short-term care launch, which most of you on this call already know. We did a launch 18 months ago. We're knocking it out of the park. It's the fastest growing plan out there. We're really excited about what Omniflex has done for folks. Wellaby short-term care launch was another integrity and proprietary product. And that product's doing well out there in the industry, and we're excited to have another product that had 2 tiers of underwriting. So I'm not going to get into it today, but if you really have somebody that says, boy, I really want a more robust plan, but I'm just not quite healthy enough to get a full short-term care plan, you can get these limited plans from Omniflex that you're probably aware of, but also from Wellaby. And Wellaby, you can do a pretty good job with even bigger daily benefits on a limited plan basis. So go in and check that training out, or ask one of our regional directors. We introduced the Chubb Lifetime Benefit Term product, great little life plan that's about as easy to get as you can get, and it's almost guaranteed issue, and it's a nice little plan that a lot of people liked and embraced. So if you're looking at something like that, make sure you ask. And we've updated our LTC CEO sales tool. That you'll see when we get into some of the other tools we have is just an all broad-based tool that has a lot of good things for you and a lot of good tools within that. We revamped our rewards program. I know I'm going through this fast, but I just want to make sure I touch on a lot of these things. You probably have been getting rewards points if you're writing. If you haven't, you're missing the boat because Amazon's alive and well, and these rewards programs can pay you some great benefits for your hard work. 2024 decline placement program. We've had a placement program in a while, but this 2024 plan, we really embraced it and jumped on it. So far, we haven't used it as much as we should have. And that's one of the things I'm excited that Morgan and Manny are going to do a great job of talking to their agents as they start doing a recruiting push and really talking to folks that, hey, if you don't want to roll up the sleeves yet and embrace these products, even though they're super simple, we have a decline placement program that can really help you be successful in this field if you're selling traditional long-term care or some of those hybrid plans for sure. We updated our pivot presentation. You guys might be familiar with that. This was kind of my baby from a few years ago in long-term care where we had to change the paradigm, right? We have a lot of agents selling long-term care insurance. We had to change the paradigm to be able to easily pivot into these other products so that we could have as much activity and as much success with everybody we're sitting in front of. Now we've also included a short-term care pivot presentation that simplifies it even more and says, hey, we're just going to go through and try to get you right into short-term care right away if you're not long-term care certified, et cetera. So we have some great little pivot presentation options for you. If you're not familiar with it, ask your regional director. We added more quick rate charts so you immediately have that first little step where a lot of agents, believe it or not, I've done this a long time, and a lot of agents will be out there saying, I don't bring this up because I just know the first question they're going to ask is about how much does it cost. These quick rate charts are real simple ways, whether they're home health care only or the short-term care plans, where you can quickly glance down, see any age when you're on the phone, see a couple options, and be able to give a price range for your clients to know that it's much less expensive than they may have thought in their heads. So make sure I'll show you before we get off today where you can find that stuff. We have this consumer extended care guide. Tell you what, we're excited about that. This consumer extended care guide does a great job of showing at a consumer level what we have going on in this thing. I think I'm going to actually show you that quickly. I'm going to do jumping, like makes it really fun for you guys to see if I'm on my toes. There we go. This is that consumer guide, and you know what a nice thing. It talks about what extended care is. It goes in, talks about some of the risks there to help you out there, talks about some of the options for clients. And again, this has been through compliance, so it's something that you can use with consumers. Talks about how health plays a role, and then it goes into a lot of different products that we have in our main portfolio, talking a little bit about broadly about how these different products work for people. So talks a little bit about inpatient versus observation, which I'm going to talk about today real briefly later on. So some really nice things in there. Make sure if you want that or you want to check that out, talk to our marketing team and we can have somebody help you as well. On this slide back here, we also talked about the extended care strategy site. I'm going to bring you over there later on, but I do want you to know that thing is everything you need to know to be successful in this market. It's really going to do a good job for you to help you out on that site. So I'm going to jump back to my presentation. Probably going to have to click all these again because I wasn't prepared there. All right, so that extended care strategy site, the reason I bunched them together is that's the actual website address. Maybe I'll have Lynn put a link in there. If she doesn't, it's real easy to find. We talk about it a lot, and you can find on our site how to get to that as well on our regular agent site. So, you know, in 2024, that was a real quick way to broadly say what we were doing because it's so broad. We do so many webinars, so much training, and our short-term care initiative is going great that we're trying to get people in different fields to go out and embrace this. And 2024 is a really successful year for us. We had a fantastic year considering some of the changes that we went through in long-term care. So when we look at a 2025, this is where the action's at. I like to look forward more than in backwards. Excuse me. In 2025, we've got a lot of great things coming as well. First of all, I can't stress again what I already talked about. Manny and Morgan promoted to regional directors. It's going to be a fantastic move for us. And don't forget, we have our senior marketing director. You know what? Jeff Clark does a fantastic job. He knows Medicare inside and out. He really understands long-term care, and he's just been invaluable on training agents and talking to agents about how to make that move from selling Medicare or some of these other products and how to start the conversation. So Jeff's going to be a really big part of what we're doing. He's training Morgan and Manny as we speak. Maybe not right now, but right now in the time frame, and getting them ready to go out and do the best job possible to help you folks in the field. We're also going to be hiring some additional marketing support. We're in the process of doing that now as we speak as well. We'll probably get a couple more people to make sure that we have the best support possible. We know that our job is to help you help people, and hopefully we've earned our reputation as being one of the very best at that. Not only designing great products, but going out and showing you how to get those products in place and help as many seniors as we can, because it's so important. And part of that is Lynn and Corey and the rest of our marketing support team, but Lynn is spearheading this along with Corey. They're redesigning these websites out there. This is our agent website that you're going to see a little bit change in the coming weeks, and this is going to be something that I think you'll be excited about, because we always listen to what our agents say and try to make these sites more powerful, easier to use, and more effective for you in the field and at home when you're learning. So we're looking forward to that, and can't say enough about my marketing team. I could talk all day about that and do a whole webinar just on that. So thanks everybody behind the scenes, might be listening right now or will listen later. But I will tell you this, 2025 is going to be the transition year. If I'd have done this slide over, I would have put the capital THE. This is going to be the transition year. We've already made great strides. We've already done some fantastic things, but this is going to be the year that we go out there and really change the paradigm, really get more agents to start drinking that Kool-Aid, because it all starts with you. That's what I'm going to end with today, and I'm going to start with it right now again. This is what the main part that you need to do as agents. We need you to embrace this. So I'm going to do a quick poll question here. I'm going to launch this. What's the main reason that you haven't sold any short-term care, or you want to sell more? If you don't mind doing that next poll, I really appreciate it. Just want some of you are reading more, but I'm going to give you a few seconds here. Again, I had a lot of little multiple choice parts to this, but again, thank you guys for participating. We're getting some people jumping on there and answering those questions. I really appreciate it. And I love what I'm seeing on the screen right now.
I just want to add a quick note. We did have an option for other. I feel as though there are other reasons besides this, but I just wanted to let you know the program capped it at 5 options.
Oh,
so
no problem.
That doesn't deter anyone from joining us.
Yep,
participating.
Lynn, I'm really glad you brought that up. Thanks. If you couldn't hear her well, there was an option for other when we put these questions together, but it capped us at 5. So I do like what I'm seeing here. I love the fact that there's a pretty big spattering. I'm not going to click share because I'm afraid I won't be able to figure out how to get it off, but basically about 30% said they're new to the concept, 31%, 23% said they're worried that it isn't enough coverage, 26% said they need product or conversation starter training, and 17% said they can't seem to find the prospects out there or need leads. And then a really small 2% said that they didn't feel there's enough commission potential. So I'm glad to see that. Proud of you folks on the phone for being honest about that and not going out and looking like just being commission hounds. But I will tell you, there is great commissions in these products that can do some great things for you as well. So thanks for participating in that. Hopefully I'm transitioning over. Lynn will yell at me if I don't. But again, the big thing we want to do this year is we want to help make 2025 a record year for you. I mean, we want to help you guys be successful. And I tell some of our career agents this, we have everything you need to be successful. And I think one of the things I'll have on here as a bullet point is we're proving it day in and day out on our career side. They're just doing an unbelievable job. Golden Care is literally leading this industry on new sales for short-term care because of the fact that we have people who are embracing the concept and going after it. So we have everything you need to be successful out there. I'm not going to go out and show you all these things, but this is right from our agent site. And you can see we have StratDecision. It's about a $500 a year thing that's free if you're with Golden Care. You can go out there and do quotes easily. We've got our InstaPivot underwriting tool I talked about already. Fantastic. Decline placement program. If you're interested in that and you want to learn more about it, click on here and learn more about it or ask our RDs. And we've got our short-term agent playbook. We've got our LTCC over here on the right. And then in here, a marketing toolbox that one of the things we're going to do in 2025 is make that look even better. So this may not look exactly the same as Lynn transitions over, but I know it'll be easy to get to because she does her job so well. It'll be easy to get to these tools. And there's more. We have our website out there with the long-term care or short-term care, excuse me, website that we talked about that you can get to. And there's links to that in there as well that'll show you everything you need to know about all the products and how to go out and be successful on the sales side. So the next thing I want to talk about, right in the middle of the sentence, I had to take a drink, sorry. Next thing I want to talk about is that, remember the year 2030 is right around the corner. This is a bigger deal than you think. We've talked about this when I've been here way too long. In old days, we'd always like, oh yeah, they'll wait till these baby boomers get older. This is going to be a toughest time ever in America. We're going to run out of caregivers. We're going to run out of places. People aren't going to plan ahead. They're going to need long-term care. They're going to need all this other protection. But the year 2030 was always the year, and it always seemed like it was miles away, right? Well, now don't forget, 2030 is right around the corner. The oldest baby boomers born between 46 and 64 are going to turn 79 this year. And you know what's scary? That means they're going to start turning age 85. We all know claims start at 84, 85. That's the average as far as really hardcore long-term care claims start. I'm going to talk later about how short-term care and home health care only plans oftentimes will pay benefits much younger ages, so you can sell to any age. But I do want you to know that's going to be a big deal. When these people start turning age 85, you're going to see seniors are going to start panicking the next couple of years. Already we've had agents say it's kind of weird to start having people come out of the woodwork and asking me for solutions where I don't have to beat the door down like I did 5-10 years ago. And the big thing you see with that is a lot of families are going to start to realize there's huge risks if we don't plan ahead. And they're going to start seeing that Medicare and Medicaid and all those things that are, we know Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the government wants to make it sound like it's great and everything's fine, but we all know there's no way we can do it. Taxation system just wouldn't work for it. So we know we got to have better solutions out there. And these products we're talking about today are a huge, huge part of it. The market is really literally primed right now, waiting for agents like you to step up and say, let me go out and help these folks. Because right now, believe it or not, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents. 90% of Americans out there have never had a real serious conversation. And you know what happens, unfortunately, is people go, oh yeah, I think I have life insurance that has some type of coverage. They're not even sure. And agents most of the time in the past have been a little bit afraid. They heard about the long-term care issues. They heard about certifications. They heard about all these different things, rate increases on these long-term care plans, and underwriting is almost impossible. You got to put a gun to your head. And what we're trying to show you is there are people out there who are doing really well with these new products because all those things that are kind of the flaws of long-term care insurance can be solved with these simpler products. And these simpler products do a great job, as I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes, okay? So what I want you to do before I even get into that is literally, this is the year of the agent. It's a year that we're going to go out and show you how important it is to help seniors, but mainly we're going to show you how easy it is to do it and how we have all the tools you need to be successful. It's just a matter of you getting out of your comfort zone just a tiny bit and going out and helping those folks, because it's an incredible opportunity for you to have a record growth year and earnings year. And it's something that's so necessary. So when I say don't waste another week, these years go by fast. Make 2025 the year you take action. Go out and break some records of your own. We can help you do that, and we're excited to do it. Okay, so as I go into there, I'll get off the soapbox there, but I want to make sure you know these products are strong for a lot of reasons. We know right now finding prospects is expensive. If you're doing direct mail programs, whether you're an agency doing that for a bunch of your sub-agents, like our career shop, or if you're out there as an individual trying to buy leads and trying to get people to talk to and paying for leads off the internet, whatever the case is, they're not cheap, are they? It's getting more expensive to go out there. We know that it's going to be expensive to be able to get in front of people besides referral business, which is another great way for you to build your business, by the way. But what we've seen is tremendous things in our career shop alone. You know, we went from 55 to 60% placement out there with these leads. Once you write an app, 55 or 60% get placed to well over 90% now. I think our career shop's sitting at about 92% for getting these apps that we put through on an overall scale issued. And what that does is it helps your long-term care. So when you get out there and you start, if you're selling long-term care as well, when you have these other products in your portfolio, we don't want you just to take the path of least resistance and always go to the easiest underwriting. But if you do a good job using pivot presentations or that concept, you can do that and have your placement go way up on the long-term care side, so they're happy and they love you and you get better bonuses, etc., from the long-term care carriers, and you can go out there and help more people with these other products. So the numbers that we're talking about are real. You know, I'm not going to pull up the actual thing. We have a nice little handout that we can give to you as an agent if you're a Golden Care agent. This is just one. We kind of showed more extreme prejudice towards our Omniflex limited coverage plan, especially, and our Omniflex plan in general. We knew when we designed this and helped Manhattan Life design this plan that underwriting's where it's at. We got to throw the net as wide as possible. So this little sheet we put together, it's a full one-pager, is just to kind of show you some of the conditions. And if you guys are reading it, if it's not too small, you can see there, look at alcohol and substance abuse. Yes, on the limited plan for sure. Cerebral palsy, COPD, and emphysema. Even if you're on oxygen with those, you can still get our limited plan here with Omniflex. Diabetics with 1 to 49 units, of course, no problem with no complications, just like some of the other carriers. But even with 50 plus units of insulin, you can still get a product on our limited side. So some of these things you used to run for the hills with long-term care. Basically everything you see on the sheet, you're running for the hills with long-term care and most hybrids plans, right? But with these short-term care plans, you can go out there and get these covered very, very easily with a lot of different health conditions that you would have been nervous about in the past. If you go to any of our training, I can't stress enough, this is kind of a hype piece just to show you a quick bird's eye view. What I want to tell you is we have the InstaPivot tool that can go through and jump through hoops and tell you exactly who can get covered for any reason. But more importantly, I want to show you when you get into our regular training sessions, we'll get on there and we'll talk about the fact that you don't need to feel like you have to have a special tool to do this. You can go out and use the actual Omniflex application. And in 3 minutes, I can go through and tell you whether I'll get a client covered. That's how easy it is. Simple, conversational. Hey, let me ask you a few questions. You buy these products more with your health than you do with your checkbook. Can I ask you a couple health questions? And then you're going to see that most of the knockouts are huge, huge knockouts. They're big, huge deals where, look at this, multiple sclerosis, you can still get a limited plan. That's $100 a day, $3,000 a month coverage. So still a nice plan that you can offer with Omniflex. And you can do it with a lot of these different health conditions that before you would have been nervous about. So we put this together this year just because we wanted agents to realize that even though we talk about the net thrown wider, we're giving you real examples saying, man, you can be in a motorized cart and still get mobility issues, no problem. We can still get you a plan. So there's a lot of great things to talk about. And again, this is leaning mainly towards Omniflex, but we have the other products in there too to show you. There's some gaps in there that Huntington's disease, you can go with Recover Cash GTL with a full-blown plan because they don't ask that question on the underwriting or on their application. So there's some different things like that our team can help you with. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I want to check my time. All right, down at the bottom, you can see premiums on this sheet just to show you how competitive these plans are as well. The limited plan is the $100 plan down the lower left. If you can read that little $44, that's $44 a month, you guys. With health conditions like that, your people are going to think you're a godsend. And then when you get to the full-blown plans, $85, $85.45 for a $200 facility and home healthcare plan. So you'll see more details. I'm not going to talk a lot of prices on this call, but I do want you to know the underwriting is so simple. It's one of the biggest things out there that's going to help you help more people. Same thing when we get into these leads. Home healthcare products, remember, including True Freedom, that isn't a real insurance plan, but it's a great prepaid healthcare plan, a membership plan. We have our other home healthcare only products from several great carriers, GTL, Manhattan, etc. And remember, those home healthcare plans are as little as 2 questions. Manhattan Life's home healthcare says, hey, are you in a facility right now, or are you receiving care right now? And that's about it, those 2 questions. So you don't have to go to med school. You can just go through and ask any of your clients. If they're at that level, you know you have a great product that can help them out. Okay, so remember how easy the underwriting is. Are you working in the Medicare market? If you are, these products are perfect, right? Helping your clients, what do you do when you're doing your Medicare enrollments? Jeff Clark did a bang-up job on one of his webinars talking about how he has Medicare clients. He's out there and he says, I'm going through these formulations to help them with their meds to find the best deal out there. And all of a sudden you realize there's a client who's whipping off 5 or 6 or 7 different meds, sometimes a lot more than that, as most of you know. Remember what an easy transition that is to say, you know, I saw you had a lot of meds on there. Just want to let you know that we've got up to $900 annual RX benefit reimbursement on some of our home health care only plans. And we've got $300 on the Omniflex plan. It's the only short-term care plan out there that has a $300 from day one reimbursement potential on those meds. And, you know, you can save them a ton of money. Remember, if you have 3 brand name meds that you get filled once a quarter, that alone, the way these are set up, would be $300 off right there. So with you save a ton of premium dollars on short-term care, but with the home health care only plans, Jeff's saying, you want to talk about people jumping on it? When I see the meds they have, I know in my head, because he's been around the block, he knows I can get you basically a free home health care plan. It's going to pay you back in your RX benefits more than you're paying in premiums to start with. So unbelievable, easy door opener. Remember to ask your RDs about that, okay? Plus, remember that Moon form we talked about, that inpatient versus observation status? Tell you what, that dreaded Moon form is alive and well out there, and it's something that you need to be aware of. And if you want to have an easy way to open doors, everybody you're talking to, you just say, you know, as you get to age 65, et cetera, you're going to have the opportunity to go into a hospital, and they're going to look at you once in a while and say, there's a lot of reasons they do this that I'm not going to get into today, but they're going to say, we're going to make you an observation instead of make you an inpatient. And they do that because the hospital still gets paid, but they don't have to worry about penalties and stuff and Medicare saying we're not paying you, okay? Excuse my drink again. But the reason that's important for you is if they're set up as an outpatient, and this form is real common, we had it happen with my mom, and if you've been on my webinar that I talk more about this, I went into a lot of detail about it. But basically, it makes a big deal on the out-of-pocket side of it for folks, because all of a sudden it's going to get covered by Part B instead of Part A, and then they've got all those deductibles to worry about. And if you have to go into a skilled nursing facility afterwards, if you remember, I tried to scare the pants off you a little bit as agents. We don't have to do that with our clients, but as agents, I tried to make you aware. People do get stuck where all of a sudden they're going, wow, I broke my leg and I'm going from a hospital, and they said I was only on observation. I didn't notice when I signed that form, and all of a sudden they pushed me into a skilled nurse facility, and I had to pay for my own recovery. So remember how Medicare works. Part A says we're only going to cover a skilled nursing facility if you have to go in there for therapy and stuff, if you had a 3-day minimum hospital inpatient stay. So remember how important it is that to educate your clients on that, because what we show you is that these products are perfect solves for that. It's one of the reasons that we do a good job with this, to go out and tell you this is why you want to have first day coverage across the board. And I'll talk more about that later on, but just remember how important it is, because these products solve the problem of mom paying the bills. And mom, I mean my own money. So this is unisex across the board. Dennis Reiner talks about this in our sales a lot. It's a way to easily have a conversation if you get into our sales training, talking about we don't want mom to pay, we want somebody else to pay, okay? So that's a great solve for you there as well, just prompting you, guiding you there. And there are other upcoming changes in MA plans. One of the things we want to make sure you realize is that things change fast in this industry. You can see this is just from last month. Steve Moses has a great bullets deal that he sends out. And they're talking about the fact that while Medicare charges a copay starting on day 21 of skilled nursing stay, if you have inpatient, all that, reports are mounting that many MA plans, Medicare Advantage plans, a lot of you are selling, are adding copays starting on the day of admission during 2025. So this is something that we don't know how much it'll impact the industry, but I'll tell you what, this is another reason that we talk a lot about. And again, why we're leaders in this industry is we're saying don't sell short-term care plans like you do long-term care plans. We all know 90 days was the main elimination period for long-term care. We talk a lot about, we've done the research, we designed plans to help you see that first day coverage is not just for home care. First day coverage can be an unbelievably strong thing for facility care with these short-term care plans, because we know that there's a lot of places out there that we need people to do that. And I'm going to talk more about that when I get into how the product works in just a few minutes. But short-term care plans are really robust and powerful. Some of you on this earlier poll today talked about the fact that you said, well, I don't know, I don't sell them because I don't know if it has enough power in these plans. I'm used to selling that old long-term care and those really big, huge plans. And I want to let you know, first of all, you've been on any of my webinars about Omniflex, you've seen this, and all the short-term care plans are kind of like this. $400 per day, $12,000 a month. That's not a weak plan. And that thing pays up to $144,000 per claim. And then you throw a home health care on there, rider, $9,000 a month. That's pretty powerful. So you're looking at up to $252,000 without inflation protection on these plans for one claim potentially. And again, if you have the restoration, which I'll talk a little bit about, it's really powerful because you can have up to $500,000 when these plans restore, which they do quite often. You throw inflation on there, it just doubles it, right? $24,000 a month on the facility, home care up to $600 a day, $18,000 a month. And when you get down to that pool of money, look at that, one claim, $504,000. And if you had the full restore, potentially you could have $1 million policy. Very affordable, by the way. These are the ones that pack a punch. You don't have to sell them this strong because of the fact that most long-term care plans that are sold today have about the same benefit dollars as short-term care plans. What am I talking about? We write a lot of long-term care, you guys. We've been leaders in the industry for years with that. Part of the way we got to our 50th anniversary, right? We were leaders in this. We helped Mutual of Omaha design that plan. We really believed in the fact that long-term care can be a great solution. But you know, in the last 3 years, 65% of our long-term care policies that we sold have maximum benefits of 2 to 3.5 years. And you know what? The average annual LTC premium that we had in 2024 was about $2,800. So what I'm trying to show you is most plans aren't that super robust plans. The days when I was young in this industry, when everybody is writing unlimited plans with 5% compound inflation, those days are almost gone, right? Most of the times today, we're seeing smaller plans that we're selling even in the long-term care industry. Most of our over 65 clients, guess what? It gets really expensive fast for those folks in long-term care. Most of them were selling 2-year plans. So the numbers are there, you guys. Most actual long-term care claims, even though we can sell $1 million policies and we can sell these huge short-term care plans, and it's kind of a myth that all the long-term care plans out there are these monster plans. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because if you're worried about these plans not being robust enough, you just have to look at the numbers. Most actual long-term care insurance claims, not even short-term care claims, but long-term care claims, pay less benefits than those that we offer in the short-term care plans. What am I talking about? This is right from Milliman's LTC survey from the 2024, which shows up to 2023 numbers. You can see there, $61,448 is the average individual claim size with long-term care. So that again is pretty weird, because of the fact that if you look at it, that's these plans out there that have the 90-day certification triggers, right? The date that you need help with ADLs, excuse me, you need help with ADLs for at least 90 days to even go on claim. So people are going to be sicker, and they still have average claims that are smaller than you might think. So if you look here on AHIP, I don't know if there'll be a link on this when you get your handout, but you can just Google it. And if you look at that, you can see that any given state, so you can look even in your own state, and you can see the total claims that have been paid out in long-term care divided by the total claims out there, and you'll see that it's approximately 80 to 110,000. Now, we know there's some big ones, and I'll talk about that as I close today. There's some huge ones out there that have unbelievable big claims, $2 million claims. That's what caused all the problem in the long-term care industry to start with. So short-term care plans can do everything you need them to do, and they're going to be a huge lifesaver for people. And all you have to do is educate folks about that a little bit, way more broadly than I just did, and you're going to have huge success helping your clients. Plus, there's something to be said about how benefits are paid, right? Even if I sold and could get through underwriting for long-term care, and I sold a 3-year plan at $4,000 a month, what would I rather do? I could sell a $144,000 plan on a short-term care basis, and I could get that whole $144,000 paid out in 1 year. Remember, these are indemnity benefits. They pay no matter what. If you need care and you get care on a certain day, you get those benefits, right? And you get them faster because we sell real short and fat policies, right? That's what short-term care is all about. I've loved short and fat policies in long-term care. Now we see how powerful it is. Would I rather get 144 grand in the first year? What do we tell people? You always want to get your benefit or premium dollars back as soon as you can. These policies give you the benefit to do that. With long-term care, tell you what, nice plan, $4,000 a month, but it's going to take me 3 years, and hopefully I'll be on claim for that whole 3 years to get my $144,000. Sounds like a little bit of weird thinking, right? And remember, no 90-day certification required for short-term care. You guys have seen this before, and I'm going to do my best not to talk for more than a minute about it, but these plans are different. These plans don't have the 90-day certification at claim time that long-term care plans have. Again, we love long-term care, but this is one of the reasons that this year is our year of transition. Because I'll tell you what, you could have things that most people you sit in front of will see themselves having the problem in the future. One of the biggest reasons people don't buy long-term care is not just the affordability, but they're in denial, right? They look at it and think, I'm going to die before I go in a nursing home, or I'm not going to see myself wheeling around in a nursing home. I don't see that happening. But you know what? Everybody you're sitting in front of who's 45 or above, for sure, 40 above, could see, do you see any chance you might have a knee replacement or break a bone or have heart valve replacement, bypass surgery, hip replacement, or maybe a car accident at some point, or fall off of a ladder and break your hip? You see that happening? You know what? That's the beauty of these short-term care plans, because they pay for those shorter claims. And these plans, you know, one of the reasons Omniflex, we designed it the way we did, these plans really give you the ability to have your cake and eat it too, because restorations is a huge deal in these short-term care plans. Once you're healthy again and not needing care for 180 days, those days that you used on that shorter claim spit right back in there so you can have them for your more hardcore traumatic claim later on. That's why people love these. That's why we have multiple restorations in these plans. And you know what? Long-term care, again, I'm going to go back to Milliman. 17.2% of the plans out there in 2023 have restoration of benefits, because you have to pay extra for it. These are built in, these short-term care plans. And let's face it, if you have a 90-day certification in long-term care, you probably don't need restoration, right? It's probably going to be, you're going to be in there most of the time for the long haul. Once in a while it kicks in, but most of the time not. With these plans, you can have restoration, and it's something that's all the plans have to some degree or the other. Okay. And finally, let's be honest. You can't help people if you can't get through underwriting. You guys have seen this before. If you've seen my Milliman study webinar, excuse me, but if you see that, you know those numbers are real. Percentage of policies decline. These are from the like 8 or 9 of the top carriers out there that Milliman had their survey with. You can see if you're looking at the 60 to 64-year-old, it's 28%. 65 to 69, it jumps up to 37%. When you get over 70, man, it's top 46% declines. But more importantly, and I always point this out because a lot of agents don't think about it, more importantly, look at the placement rates. When you're looking at 70, 74, you know what? 64.7 aren't placed. That's people, you wrote the application, you did field underwriting, and you ended up where they just said, you know what, the underwriting took too long, I got nervous, I decided I couldn't afford it anyway, I'm not going to do it. Look at those numbers. Even for 60, 64-year-old, you can see 46.8% of policies that go into underwriting are not placed. And remember, I can't stress enough, most long-term care folks are specialists. They do their field underwriting. Most of them don't just throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. So when you start looking at numbers like that, long-term care is great. Those hybrid plans are great, but you know what? You need to have solutions that you can help more people at, because we do know Americans are really concerned. I always throw this slide in. It's back from November 23 from Steve Moses, pointed it out. But if you look at this, 90% of respondents said that their estimated 100,000 needed for 1 year in a nursing home is way out of reach. 83% said that 60,000 for anything with a nurse or an aide is way too expensive. 3 out of 5 personal bankruptcies out there in America are still due to medical expenses that people don't foresee and plan for. And again, this isn't $100,000 bankruptcies, you guys. I always remind people, this is about smaller type claims, okay? So I know I'm getting close to the end here, and I do want to wrap it up, but I just want to remind you again, the reason Omniflex is a leader for us, and it's one of the best plans out there. There's a lot of good options that we have that we can show you, but I do want you to know, the Fast 50 is one of the best things ever. Got Mutual of Omaha up to the #1 plan out there in long-term care. I firmly believe the big reason for that was the Fast 50 benefit, or the cash first benefit in that product. Here, people love the idea of saying, even if it's a dream and it's not going to happen, they love the fact that I have my spouse or family and friends who can help me. And it's a great way to have peace of mind when they put their head on the pillow, and it'll pay half of whatever your benefits at that time when you go on claim, and it'll pay for the same amount of days. So it's a win for the carrier, but it's really a win for your clients. We've had 2 claims now, I believe, with Omniflex, and both of them use the Fast 50. Might have had 3 now, but most people aren't even close to going on claim yet because the product's relatively new. But it's kind of cool to see that even with that 5-year ramp up that we have with the Omniflex plan, people are jumping on that Fast 50. They like the fact that their spouse can help them. So don't forget, again, this slide is more for when you see your handout. But volunteer caregivers in America is unreal. It's going wild. No matter where you look, the numbers are astounding. Even though they're different in some studies, it's overwhelming how much people are helping other people for free. But even with paid caregivers, look at the bottom of that slide. Even with paid caregivers, home health aid is obviously #1, CNA is right behind them. But in 3rd place, paid caregiving, people are paying money for family, friends, and other independents out there. And these policies have the ability as indemnity benefits to pay first day coverage for family caregivers and friends. So it's really important to remember to educate your clients on that. If you've been to any of our training, you'll know this, but I want to make sure you know that we do have it out there. I'm not going to do a final poll question because I want to jump into it and finish up here. We have a Amazon gift card. Stick around because we have a way for you to win. Just in a couple seconds, I'm going to turn it over to Lynn to give out those $100 gift cards. But I do want you to know, short-term care can really help save this industry for a lot of reasons. And again, this is mainly for you to see as you look at this later. I'm not going to go into it, but people worry about short-term care saying, well, boy, they look underwriting so easy, they're going to be in trouble and they're going to have a lot of problems with premiums, et cetera. Remember, these plans have the safety valves involved. They have the adverse selection thing with it, like a ramp up with the Omniflex plan. And you don't have those huge catastrophic claims. Remember, that's the main reason that long-term care is a super profitable product for companies now, because they're out there, they understand how the claims work. They understand we don't want to sell unlimited plans with 5% compound inflation. If you look at those are pretty expensive now if they're available at all. And the reason is smart, because those catastrophic claims, even though they're relatively few, are the ones that can really knock around your actuarial assumptions. So you don't have to worry about that with short-term care. Finally, because of all those reasons and everything else I talked about today, short-term care really does deserve a seat at that big boys table. I use this in almost every webinar I do with short-term care and home care, because these plans are so robust, so strong, so flexible, and the underwriting is so easy that it really is a no-brainer for you to make that as one of your primary products. Again, 2025 is our year to do this transition, to get more agents leaning in, because I guarantee you more clients and more consumers and more prospects, even though they may not call you and beg for it, you know what? They're going to be leaning in because they need to have the ability to help them and their families. And if you go educate them, we can show you how easy it is to be successful to do that. So I really urge you, take advantage of our team. Lynn, if you're still there and I didn't put you to sleep, I'm going to turn it over to you if I can and see if you can do those $100 gift cards for the folks. And before I do, I want to tell everybody, thank you so much. I know a lot of you will jump off as she does this or right afterwards. Thank you so much for spending your time to jump on with me today. Be on the lookout for those slides, etc. Lynn, it's all yours. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. I'm going to try and talk a little bit louder because I think maybe I was a bit quiet when I chimed in earlier. But let me go ahead and, all right. If I'm not mistaken, you should be able to see this now. We're going to be drawing 3 winners. We have $100 gift cards. We have 3 $100 Amazon.com gift cards, and we are going to draw 3 winners. So I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel. The first winner is August H. Now, these are actually going to go out as electronic gift cards. So these will be sent by email. So make sure you're checking your emails while I'm mentioning emails too. The follow-up email is likely going to go out tomorrow. It'll have a copy of the presentation slides. It'll have a link to the recording. But these winners are going to have to look for a separate email that will also contain their electronic Amazon.com gift card code. So I'm going to go ahead and spin for the second winner. Robert B., congratulations. All right, and then we'll go ahead and the third and final winner, Anthony. Congratulations to our 3 winners. That's all that I had. It was just a short, sweet spin with the wheel. And Tom, I'm not sure if you wanted to.
Yep. Again, this is Tom Randall, and I can't stress enough, thank you very much for jumping on here. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing that. And the biggest thing I really want to do is I'm really excited to get going with Morgan and Manny and of course Jeff and our new people who are being marketing support and our whole team here. We've got unbelievable great team from start to finish in this on our Golden Care team. We want to help you be successful. So please, please, please take the next step, jump on board. If you're not appointed, jump on board and get appointed. And we'd love to see you there and make sure that we have the opportunity to help you out in the future. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day. Appreciate all you do.